Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I will read, otherwise I may miss a word and you would not understand what I say. So, sorry about my accent. So I'm really proud to be here. I'm very happy to be with you this evening. Proud and happy because I'm going to present you this new guide dedicated to a city that I only discovered last year and that I find really fascinating, your city, Detroit. Since 1926, Michelin travel guides have recommended, this is very important, sites to travelers to visit museums, churches, all kind of activities you can experience. The stars, they guide the travelers. So why those stars? 3 stars means worth the trip, 2 stars worth a detour, and 1 star worth the visit. Worth a trip, you can really go, you close your eyes, you go, and you will not be disappointed. 2 stars is really important, it's worth a detour, you're not far, you leave the motorway, you maybe do 100, 200 miles to go and visit the place. And 1 star, you're on the place and you need to visit it, not to miss it. It's a question of time, it's a question of organization of your trip. So today I'm delighted to say that a shower of stars, of travel stars, fell on Detroit. And Detroit now has 5 3-star sites. So in addition to the Detroit Institute of Art and the Henry Ford that already had 3 stars, now there are 3 stars for the whole downtown area, which is one of the most beautiful downtown in the the United States. The Guardian building is probably the most beautiful building for us in Detroit and one of the most exquisite skyscraper in the United States. And the Cranbrook Educational Community, which is a very unique and very unusual campus dedicated to art and culture. So there are also 2 stars sites, new stars for Griswold Street and the other skyscrapers like the Penobscot and the Bull building. The Book Tower also for its renovation. The County building that I hope will be restored and bring to a new life again soon. The Fox Theater, Michigan Central as well. That we did not visit because it was not finished when we closed the contents of the guide. The Motown Museum, the Ford House, Meadowbrook Hall, and so many sites also with 1 star. So these stars are not assigned randomly. They are awarded based on 9 criteria that I'm going to detail, and they are evaluated by a team of specialists, 100 people traveling the world for our 200 destinations we have every year. So those stars are evaluated in complete autonomy and above all independence. This is very important and this is very Michelin style by the teams of the Michelin Travel and Culture Guides, my team. These criteria are the same, and it's very important to mention that, measured from Detroit to Paris, from New York to Tokyo, or from Montreal to Buenos Aires, same criteria. So what are they? The first criteria is the first impression. It's the feeling when a site, a city is discovered, and it's the very first impression, and it's very important because it's sometimes very maybe not, how do you say, I should not have tried to leave my spreadsheet. We say the first impression is very important, especially when it's bad. So it's very important to be cautious about this very first impression. So then, second criteria, the awareness. We measure the awareness from a local to an international one. So it's something we do according to all the destinations and the sites we know. The third is the nature and heritage wealth. We made an inventory, a list of all what can be seen, all what can be done as an activity. So the number of monuments in a city, the number of paintings in a museums, the number of animals in a zoo, for instance. The fourth criteria is the labels, like UNESCO, National Heritage City of Art and History. The fifth criteria is a milestone, artistic, historical, animation. So we try to measure if the site is a milestone. So for instance, the DIA is among the 5 most important museums in the country and is a worldwide museum. So we compare the size, for instance, of a museum to another in the country and sometimes outside the country. The sixth criteria is the beauty, the aesthetic. So you will tell me that maybe it's not very relevant, but it's very important because we try to measure the monumental aspect of things, the regularity, the homogeneity among the styles of the presentation. The seventh criteria, to balance the previous one, is authenticity and charm. So we are trying to measure the intimacy of a place because travelers like intimacy as well. Whether the site or the city is composite or irregular, we also measure the respect of the integrity of a place. And finally, the 2 most important criteria are the quality of reception, so reception structure, the criteria to ease a visit, and the quality of the visit itself is very important. Those 2 criteria are the experience criteria that all the travelers will appreciate. So all those criteria, we measure them, they are ranked from 0 to 5, and they are weighted from 1 to 3. And then it gives, it's very engineer styles, it's Michelin, it's a tire business. So then it gives a mark, and at the end, we decide, because we're not machines, the editorial committee, whether it will be 3 stars, 2 stars, or 1 star. So our mission, above all, is to please the traveler, to guide them with discernment so that their trip is as successful as possible. That's because of that we grant the stars. And we want our readers to be curious, and we believe that curiosity has no limits, and we want to assert that it has no limits, but it has a guide, the Michelin Travel Guide. So with this guide, we hope to bring new light, new focus on Detroit. We hope that it will convince you, Detroiters, if not yet, of the real tourist potential of your city. We hope that Detroit will increasingly be a stopover for many visitors from all over the world, and first of all, French and European visitors. Detroit is not an ordinary city. I suppose you will agree with me. It has a rich history, and this is very important, in both success and adversity. It has experienced glory, misfortunes, and now she imposes itself on the minds of many people worldwide, and that's why we decided to do that guide. It transformed resilient skills into an extraordinary strength for its new and future development. It comes back at what it always was, basically one of the largest cities in the US, and you mentioned that the population is growing again, which is good. And like this station, Michigan Central, which is one of the most beautiful railway stations in the world, which until recently excited just fans of urbex and now flirts with new technologies linked to the automobile. It's really, really encouraging, and I'm sure that people will come to see that, but also to see the rest of the city. So Detroit means car, music, but also visual art, architecture, design, gastronomy, lifestyle. It's a great destination that can match the requirements of the most demanding travelers. I would like to thank Visit Detroit and the whole team for their trust. I also want to thank all of you stakeholders in the life of Detroit who put so much heart into defending your city. We can feel this love, this attachment. It's vibrating, and it's really important to make a good guide, because otherwise, if you don't have that feeling, then the guide will not reflect the energy of a place. So without this energy, our guide would have been less interesting, I'm sure. We can have the most beautiful buildings or museums on earth, but if the heart and the spirit are missing, they will be only soulless shells. And this is not the case of Detroit. So thank you. I will be happy to answer questions. And I hope that you will enjoy this guide about your city.